Nasdaq Live over the next 30 minutes, all the global action to keep stock off. Let's get started with the headline. But let's move to the one of the results that we are tracking right now, and that's WNS. It is a leading IT major, a BPO service provider. Let's first get done with the exact reads. So those coming up on your screen. The Q1 profit coming in at $0.7 million versus $8.8 million. That's on a sequential basis. The revenues were up if you exclude the account repairing costs. That's up by 9.6% to $97.8 million versus $89.3 million on a quarter-on-quarter basis again. And the management did narrow the full-year forecast to a range of $387 to $407 million versus the earlier $383 to $407 million. Analysts were expecting an average of $375 million. But let's get more detail and color on the environment as well as business for WNS and the sector. The management joins us, Group Chief Executive Officer Keshav Murugesh. Good to have you on this show, Mr. Murugesh. Let me just start with the reasons for the sequential profit decline first. What went wrong there?
Well, actually, no. From a profit point of view, during the first quarter, our operating margins actually were at 14%. And this compares with 12.5% in the first quarter. So actually margins are up. And this improvement was due to the same, reasons of higher volume, higher revenue, as well as, to some extent offset by investments in sales and marketing. But overall, profitability in this quarter, along with revenues, were higher actually.
So the reasons for the sequential revenue decline, you're pretty much attributing to the change in accounting for the repair payments?
Yes, absolutely. So from our perspective, if you look at traditionally the BPO business, because in our company at WNS, in addition to the traditional BPO business, we also have an auto claims business which has both gross and net revenue accounting. So if you look at just the net revenue business, which is comparable to any other BPO company, actually we had a fantastic first quarter. We actually had sequential revenue growth of almost 3.8% and year-on-year growth of almost 9.6, close to 10% this quarter at $97.8 million.
Okay, you've also narrowed your full-year forecast, and that's above analysts' expectations. Mr. Murugesh, what is the sense that you're getting on the IT BPO environment? Because we've got a really mixed message coming in, whether you talk about Infosys versus TCS or Wipro just a day earlier, or even the smaller firms which are direct competition for you, the likes of Firstsource and Genpact. What to you is the IT environment looking like?
Actually, we compete head-on with the BPO firms, and from our perspective, we're actually seeing positive trends come out in the overall BPO environment, which we think we can leverage for the benefit of our business. So we're actually seeing clients begin to take decisions faster. We're seeing a lot more client visits to our campuses. I must say that from a WNS perspective, this is a transformed company that is actually focusing on a number of new key initiatives. There's a lot of excitement that our clients and our prospects are seeing, from our perspective. I must also say, overall, generally clients are now getting comfortable with the fact that the business environment outside for them is not going to change in a hurry, and therefore, for them, the need to reduce costs and build efficiencies by actually signing up, partnerships with companies like WNS is actually getting higher. And based on all the investments we have made as a company in terms of vertical, horizontal excellence, sales effectiveness, as well as our new campus strategy, we're actually seeing much better impact for our business.
Okay, you've added 6 new clients in this quarter as well, and you've got some top clients which include the insurance, retail verticals, the likes of Aviva. You've got British Airways as a top client and FedEx as well. So what are you seeing in terms of vertical trends? Where is the maximum growth coming in from? Where do you see a sluggish demand recovery?
Okay, actually, yeah, we did sign 6 new contracts with companies in the travel, insurance, telecom and manufacturing verticals. And just to clarify, we will work with them on the finance and accounting sides, the transaction processing side, and other technology-related work, for these clients. We've also actually expanded relationships with 9 other clients, during this, this quarter. Again, while the overall macroeconomic headwinds are still persisting, I think we have focused on specific differentiators which are boosting interest from the analysts, advisors, and clients in terms of WNS specific offerings. And this is essentially because of our verticalized BPO offerings, our non-linear growth models, a very focused client partner approach that we have implemented globally, and a strong on-site model along with nearshore and offshore, and finally a very strong technology-based transformation program. So from our perspective, we are seeing growth across every one of our verticals, whether it is banking, insurance, travel, retail, and CPG.
Okay, broad-based growth there. But you've also said that you're expanding more specifically in North America. Can you provide us a little bit more color on that? Because there's been that entire visa issue which has also dominated the screen for the IT industry.
Yeah, happily, we are not impacted by the visa issues because, being a BPO company, our focus really is on, putting salespeople on the ground in, each one of these geographies, and thereafter moving work either, nearshore, on-site, or predominantly offshore. So the need for visas, for companies like us is minimal. And in terms of investment, traditionally WNS has been extremely strong in Europe. But over the last 1 year, we've put a number of sales suites, on the ground in North America as well as in Asia Pac, as well as the Middle Eastern markets. And all of this is actually resonating extremely well, for us because our salespeople are now knocking on the doors of a number of prospects and clients, and that's actually leading to very strong traction from a sales point of view for us.
All right, thanks so much, Mr. Murugesh. Good luck with the business going forward. It's been a strong quarter and seems like you're very confident about all your verticals going forward. All right, that's a wrap on NASDAQ Live. We're going to be closely watching out for anything from the Eurozone Summit. A Greece deal seems imminent. Thanks for watching.